Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again.
And this morning we're starting with the Nigeria Professional Football League match day 12 will get us talking. And the big match we're looking at will definitely be Enyimba and Akwa United. Akwa United got their win last weekend, but Enyimba, they were on the continent busy beating Rivers by lone goal to get into the group stage, by 5-4 on penalties to get into the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. Right now, they will be in action today against Akwa United, and that game will be live on mpfl.tv.
All right, also on the show this time around, we're still talking football, but we're going to the UEFA Champions League where Olivier Giroud scored an acrobatic winner to lead Chelsea to a 1-0 win over Atletico Madrid.
What a way to get the only goal. That's a stunner
Indeed.
from Giroud at 34. All right, also on the program, yes, good news. I mean, I will use the word good news because last night everyone was actually afraid of what's going to happen to Tiger Woods. But the story after that incident that happened is the fact that he's recovering well and he's already awake. He suffered multiple leg fractures and he was rushed to the hospital after the accident he had, when he was traveling alone. Driving alone, yeah.
Scary moments.
Scary moments.
When the knees first broke. But thankfully, no life-threatening injuries.
Yeah.
Just the leg issues, and surgery is successful.
Yeah.
Tiger is recovering, stable, and we're hoping for full recovery. That's all we can do at this moment.
Of course, that's definitely what we can do.
Exactly, we're seeing pictures
from that scene.
From the accident scene, a single vehicle accident. There was a rollover as well too, Cecilia. And it was just very scary when you saw the car, the damage, done to the car. You start to feel really worried for the passenger. But thankfully, Tiger Woods is fine, and the doctor that operated on him has said, it was a successful surgery, and that's where we are at the moment.
Yeah, it was a successful one, and all that. He's awake, he's responsive. So after he had that surgery on his legs, it was really, according to report, it was really serious and all that. But at the end of the day, initially we thought,
initially there were actually reports that they needed a jaws of life to extract
him from the damaged vehicle.
Exactly, but they have since recanted that claim. And of course, outpouring of reactions from our fellow golfers and pretty much everyone across the world, because Tiger Woods transcends the golf, transcends all sports, as a matter of fact, and the reactions have been pouring in. We're going to listen now to Justin Thomas, one of his closest friends on tour, speaking about this accident.
Yeah, I'm sick to my stomach. It hurts to see one of your, now my closest friends, get in an accident. And man, I just hope he's all right. Just worry for his kids.
There you go, Justin Thomas, just one of the few that I've been reacting to. This is a very unfortunate situation involving Tiger Woods. And as soon as the accident happened, Cecilia, a lot of people were wondering what could have caused it, because it's a single car accident. And so you're wondering what could have happened. And talks, and people started to wonder, was he impaired? Because that's a similar situation before with the painkillers.
Of course.
Yeah, but
this wasn't it at
that's
all.
not the
There
case,
was no
right?
impairment, there was nothing. And we remember just was it on Monday he was talking about the fact that he wants to be in Augusta in April.
Yeah, because he's got a back surgery, which is going to keep him until then. Yeah,
keep him until then. So he was going to start, PGA Tour in April. Participating in the Augusta National, and that's the Masters. At the end of the day, when this happened, so there was a whole lot of issues, surrounding him. But the good news is no impairment or anything. It's just, accidents do happen. Let's hear from the sheriff.
Today at 7:12 in the morning, Lomita Sheriff Station received a call of a solo vehicle collision in Hawthorne Boulevard, north of Palos Verdes Drive. We arrived on scene at 7:18 a.m. and discovered the solo vehicle collision, and the sole occupant was, again, Tiger Woods. And deputies At the time, they did not see any evidence of impairment, anything that of concern. Obviously, the life-saving measures that had to be taken for the occupant of the vehicle, and Chief Osby will speak to that regard. And it was a solo vehicle. Unfortunately, during the course of the investigation of this, there was another traffic collision that happened with people being looky-loos. But that, thankfully, there was no injuries associated with that. The vehicle traveled several hundred feet from the center divider at the intersection and rested on the west side of the road in the brush. Sustained major damage to the vehicle. You've seen all the images of that. And with that, our Lomita Sheriff Station will be conducting the traffic investigation. And it'll take from days to several weeks to get the whole thing together.
Yeah, I mean, well, the good news is he's recovered, because when the first sheriff who got there was talking about the fact that he was actually lucky to be alive. I mean, that was where the scary part was.
Yeah.
But when it was confirmed that, look, okay, he's awake now, he's recovering, so he's fine.
So
So
I mean,
that's
you hear jaws of life, and you're okay. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Because that's the extraction too, like pretty much signifies a very, very serious situation.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Tiger Woods seems looks like he's going to be fine and recover fully. I wish him all the best. Let's get on with the show now, and let's go to the USA and talk about the NBA. A lot of games went down last night and early this morning. We have all the results for you. And we're going to start off with the Cavs taking on the Atlanta Hawks. So it was a very interesting game because the Cavs finally managed to end their 10-game losing streak with a 112 to 111 victory over Atlanta, just the 1 point. Cecilia, a win.
For Rockets to end theirs.
A win is all that matters, right? Elsewhere, the Pistons also snapped a 3-game losing streak. This time it was against the Orlando Magic, 105 to 93. The Kings and the Nets, we're going to come back to that game later on, but just to let you know, Brooklyn won for the 7th time, 121 to 118. The Warriors and the Knicks was Golden State prevailing, 114 to 106. Steph Curry, 37 points in that game that finally saw the return of fans to the Madison Square Garden. We'll come back to that later as well. The Raptors lost to the 76ers, 109 to 102. The Celtics lost by 3 points.
And who was responsible
Luka
for that? Look at
Doncic, last second shots.
Oh, gosh.
110 to 107 in favor of Dallas over Boston. That's another game we're going to focus on shortly. Let's move on to the Timberwolves and the Bucks.
Fire.
You can say that again. Absolute rout. 139 to 112. Giannis Antetokounmpo with 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Nuggets defeated the Portland Trail Blazers 111 to 106. Nikola Jokic 41 points on the night. And last but not the least, the Clippers ending the winning streak of the Wizards.
Ended at 5.
Not bad. 135 was quite the beat down as well.
Yeah, it was.
135 to 116. Kawhi Leonard.
At the point, the game was close, but somehow Clippers just pulled away.
Exactly. Kawhi Leonard, like I said, 32 points. Paul George also added 30 points. All right. So let's quickly focus on the big game between the Nets and the Sacramento Kings. Like we said,
it's really a big game. The fact that they are on a winning run, I'm sure that's what you're talking about.
That's what I mean by big game for the Nets. Obviously, winning again, and they're looking very good. Bruce Brown, I mean, not that name, not James, not Katie, not Kyrie. It was Bruce Brown 29. Scoring 13 of his 29 points in the fourth quarter in that particular victory. It was a very balanced offense as well, too, because the Nets had 5 players in double figures. Of course, led by James Harden, who recorded his 6th triple-double with the Nets, finishing with 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists. The Beard is having a good time in Brooklyn.
He's having fun in Brooklyn. That's what it is. It's the one that's spoiling the team, having a 6th triple-double, as you mentioned. Of course, Kyrie Irving is not left out
21
in that
points.
21 of his own.
Fantastic.
The Kings, they've lost 8 in a row now.
Yeah, so no surprises at all. Let's get post-game reaction coming from Steve Nash and James Harden.
You know, we turned it up. Held them to 22. I think they had a couple late buckets too, and we were just, I put it to bed. So I was proud of that. I thought everyone contributed, and I thought this is a trap game. You have a winning streak on the West Coast. You fly back across the country, getting acclimated to family and friends and time zone and all that stuff, and you play a team you beat a week ago. It's a trap game. So I was proud of the focus. It wasn't always pretty, but they wanted to win and they got the stops when they needed them.
It's not the one thing particular. It might have just been like, we're tired of losing and let's start winning, and by any means necessary, whatever it takes. And each guy's been locked in. We've had a few guys in and out lineups or whatnot, but the next man up and the next man ready to go. Obviously Jeff TLC was out tonight, but just guys came in and was prepared and played big minutes, and they stepped up.
James Harden, of course, another triple-double, sixth with the Brooklyn Nets, 7 wins in a row now. This team will take some stopping, especially when Kevin Durant returns to the lineup. Let's quickly talk about the Mavs and the Celtics. Actually, that was the big game of the night between those two sides, and it was Luka Doncic, what a player.
Yeah.
Last second shot, I think it was about 0.1 second left on the clock to get that victory for the Mavs, 110 to 107. Doncic finished with 31 points, 6 of 8 shooting from downtown. And this
10
guy,
rebounds and 8 assists
what
added
more?
to it.
Exactly,
What
what a
more do
player.
you want? That's what that 3 points just. Boston Celtics definitely
that's
just
what you
been
call
reeling from that.
That's what you call a dagger to the heart. Anyways, let's get to listen now to Luka Doncic after his late heroics.
Honestly, I was more confident in the first one, It felt good out of my hands. I was kind of tired just running around the whole possession, But, he got in, and that's all that matters. It's just something I've been doing. I try to do, sometimes 2 people go on me, I have to pass it. But, sometimes you're going to miss it, like the last game against Portland, and, sometimes you're going to make it, so.
Sometimes you miss, sometimes you make it. But against the Celtics, Luka Doncic obviously made that shot, and that's how they were able to get a 3 points victory. Fantastic. Let's quickly talk about the standout performers, all the guys that stood out. All the big players actually stepped up to the plate for their different teams yesterday night, stroke this morning. Of course, we're going to start with Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Bucks, 37, 8, and 8 on the night. Let's move on to the next guy.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Giannis 37, Kawhi Leonard
Kawhi.
32, 7, and 4. Moving on to the next player that was also on another double digit on the night. Can do that quickly. Okay, Ty, what do you have?
There's also Nikola Jokic, of course, 41.5 rebounds and 5 assists.
And Steph Curry is the last one, 37,
It's not a
6,
joke.
and 6. Okay.
All right, congratulations all of these guys. Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis as well. All right, so before we leave the NBA quickly, the NBA All-Star reserves have been announced, and of course some notable
Names are
omissions. But let's quickly talk about the reserves themselves. Chris Paul has made it to the West. Paul George, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Zion Williamson, and Anthony Davis, who's injured at the moment.
Anthony Davis obviously will be replaced if it's not ready.
Yeah, will be replaced. Hopefully, he gets replaced by Devin Booker. He
I was
deserves to be
going
an
to say
All-Star.
that. Yes, he deserves to be there.
Anyways,
And
the
for the
East has got James Harden, Julius Randle, Jason Tatum,
Well deserved for
Jalen
him.
Brown, Zach Lavin, Ben Simmons, and Nikola Vucevic. And the notable snubs for this year's
Trae Young,
All-Star,
Devin
Trae
Booker.
Young.
I'm
It's a
like,
shame.
Why?
Yes, it's still 24 sports. Everyone can be there.
Yeah, it can
Let's
be there.
get
I
on
get
with the
that,
show.
yeah.
So,
Okay. Madiba, of course, he hasn't had a fantastic season and all that, so that's the reason. Okay, we'll leave it at that, leave the NBA and wait for the date when the All-Star will take place. Just one day, everything's going to be
Everything.
one day.
So it's All-Star Day, no All-Star Weekend. Like
no
it used to be.
All-Star weekend, just one day. That's it. Coronavirus happened, so that's the reason. quickly talk about Andy Murray. Do you have time for him?
No,
I mean,
no,
Andy
let's
Murray?
let's
No
get
time
it.
for
Let's
him.
go
Let's just
on.
skip it
All
and
right,
quickly talk about the Super Falcons. And of course, the Super Falcons, yes, they went to Turkey. Before they left, they actually talked about the fact that they just want to go there and see if they can win it. We're like, these girls have not been together since October 2019.
Over a year.
Over a year, more than a year. And of course, what happened? They went there and they won all their games. And the last one, we actually give you guys updates of the game. I mean, there's a first that was 7-0 and all that. That was how we ended the show yesterday. But then, at the end of the day, ended 9-0. Yeah, that's for Falcons. That's what they can actually do. They score 10 goals, 11 goals, and did not concede
Fantastic.
any. They used 2 goalkeepers in that. And of course, for that final game, Asisat Oshola had 4 goals in it. Of course, she emerged as the highest goal scorer in the tournament. So the Falcons went to Turkey, and of course, they came back
Great.
with something. Good way to start for Randa Wardrobe.
Randy, yeah, great start for the coach, our new
Yeah.
coach, and like I said, I'm very interested in seeing what direction is going to take the side in terms of how they want to play. Of course, the target still remains going to the World Cup and perhaps getting to the semi-finals, because last bus stop has been the quarters for a while now. So congratulations once again to the Super Falcons.
And of course, this morning we'll be joined by Harry Awurumbibe to talk more about this one. I mean, he's an advocate of men's football. He's a member of the Nigerian Men's Nigeria Football Federation's Women's Committee. And so, you know, he will be talking about the Super Falcons and what this actually means for the girls. They haven't played for a while, but then they went to Turkey and they came out with this one. Harry will join us from our Abuja studio. Harry, good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning.
It's great to have you. What do you make of the whole performance of the Super Falcons in Turkey?
Well, good performance, especially their last game. The girls.
Okay, I think it's hard for us to really hear you. I think we'll try to get back to you much later. We really can't hear you. Technology happened. We really can't hear you clearly, you know, from there and all that. I mean, these girls wanted to go there and win, and that was exactly what they did.
Exactly, and I'm, you know, very interested in the debutants as well. So the debutants that played. We saw George, we saw Tony Payne finally as well too. I thought they were decent. Obviously, it's still very early doors, and we're still going to have to see them a lot more before we can say, or before we can reach any kind of conclusion about their future with the Super Falcons. But like we all know, talent has never been in doubt. It's never been the issue. And overall, it was a good one, Cecilia. And we can start to move on from the disappointment of not qualifying for the Olympics.
For the Olympics. Obviously, we know the Olympics is the biggest, but
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
a
being
shame,
action. It's a shame that they couldn't qualify. And we know why they didn't qualify, yes. Okay, we need to go on a break. We'll back. We'll talk about the NPFL, NWFL, and of course, we're talking about the UEFA Champions League. Welcome back. You can talk to us on our Twitter handle. What do you think about the Champions League last night? Chelsea won their game by lone goal against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, as usual, tried to defend, but Chelsea, Olivier Giroud was the one who got the goal.
What a goal it was as well.
For them, which was really a cool one. The next game, obviously, is going to be at Stamford Bridge, and of course, Chelsea wants to take advantage of that. So tell us, how far will Chelsea go in this one? And it's Nigerian Professional Football League match day 2 of what, so we'll get to talking. Enyimba and Akwa United, the games we'll definitely focus on. They have other games for today. So tell us about NWFL and, of course, NPFL and also NWFL, your match day 7 returns. And, of course, for that, I mean, we'll be starting with on a very, very, you know, sad note. FC Robo players were actually attacked on their way to Delta State. So it's not really a good one. They were traveling by their own bus and all that. It happened in the night, and the coach actually posted pictures around 3 a.m. and at about that time and all that. But our heart goes out to everyone. But the good thing is that all the players are fine. I mean, we saw pictures of them trying to pick up their things from the bush and everything and all that. They had to get into the bush, you know, robbed, gunmen, you know, attacking the bus and all that. And at the time, the driver was missing. But finally, I mean, the coach reported this morning that they've seen the driver. That's pictures, you know, coming from
That's
that
so
alleged
sad.
attack,
Celia,
which is really a sad
there's
one.
always the danger
Yeah,
when these clubs are making this
yeah.
long trips by roads,
It's not
by
really like
road
from Lagos to Delta State,
as well.
meaning the roads are good. It's supposed
That's
to be
what I'm
like
saying,
five
and that's the
hours.
danger. The danger
Yeah,
is
danger
Nigerian
is
roads,
Nigerian
which is
roads.
the
Yeah,
issue. So when you travel on it, there is the danger of this. I mean,
yeah,
when the roads are unsafe and they're not too good, this kind of things are bound to
yeah.
happen, which is a bit of a shame. But thankfully, no one was hurt, and I wish them a quick recovery psychologically because
Yeah.
this can definitely affect your mental. All right,
Absolutely. Let's just quickly take a look at the
the
games for
fixtures.
the fixtures
Yeah,
for today. I mean, some games they are facing Delta Queens today,
yeah.
and just hopefully to continue the run that they
Will
had the
that
last
game
time
go ahead?
at
We'll
home.
see.
That's another thing. We need to find out if that game will go ahead.
Is
Because the
that
game is today, and they were attacked in the ninth, and that's the game. Delta
these are
Queens
all the
FC Robo, Edo
fixtures?
Queens and Confluence Queens also be in action. Abia Angels and Bayelsa Queens also in action. Ibom Angels and Nasarawa Amazons, another game to watch out for. Oshun Babes and Sunshine Queens, Pelican Stars and the Rivers Angels. You have Royal Queens and Dream Stars Ladies. Royal Queens came to Lagos, they were beaten by FC Robo, and Dream Stars were beaten by Pelicans, and now both will be facing each other. Dream Stars away. Okay, that's it for the NWFL. For Nigeria Professional Football, we'll come to that much later because we have Bada actually waiting to talk about the UEFA Champions League, what went down last night. Bayern, the usual classic Bayern, they were good on the night. Of course, it's Chelsea, Olivier Giroud out to rescue a point for them. Bada, good morning. It's good to have you. And will I say happy birthday to you, a belated one?
Thank you so very much. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning to the viewers at home. Feels great to be here, having just clocked another year. So thank you for the birthday wishes.
Great.
Oh, congratulations, Bada. Let's just dive straight into it now. Let's cut to the chase and talk about the game between Chelsea and Atletico Madrid in Bucharest. Of course, Olivier Giroux scoring that incredible winner. This guy at 34 is still doing incredible things on the pitch. And for Chelsea, still unbeaten under Thomas Tuchel. And once again, it was another efficient and professional performance, nothing too flamboyant.
Well, not flamboyant, but very deserved. They were the better team over 90 minutes. They thoroughly dominated the game. Maybe they would have loved to create more clear-cut scoring chances.
Yep.
But they were eminently better, superior to Diego Simeone's men. And you see the experience that Thomas Tuchel brings to the table way better than Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard's team will set up on the offensive without necessarily having a solid defensive shape. They managed that, to be fair to him, in the early parts of the season, but it was owing more to the fact that his team was irrepressible in attack and had most of the ball against teams that they should be beaten actually. But in crunch games, in big games, Frank Lampard's team was found out. But we saw all of Tuchel's experience and know-how come to the fore yesterday. The way Chelsea set up, the way they played, the way the wing backs were flying forward, the way they packed the midfield, the way they got back into shape very quickly when they lost the ball, and just denied Atletico Madrid what they were looking for, which was a quick breakaway. Just get the ball off them, transition very quickly, and hit Chelsea when they are short of numbers at the back. But Chelsea never left themselves exposed at any point in time. When they lost the ball, they won it back very quickly. They made it so difficult for Atletico Madrid to find any spaces the way, and they were always in control of that game from the first minute to the last minute. I can't remember any point in time in that game when it seemed like Atletico Madrid were on the up or in the ascendancy or having the more ball, or they looked like they could hurt Chelsea. I don't even remember them having a shot on target in 90 minutes. Chelsea, very efficient, very professional, very mature, very, very mature also in the way they went about their business away from home, it must be said, even though it wasn't played at Wanda. Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, but
it was
carry on.
Yeah, it was an away game for Chelsea, and they won that and won it well.
Indeed, Chelsea in the driving seat. Before we go to the second match of the night, let's take a listen to the post-match thoughts of Thomas Tuchel.
For my players and for the team, that we have such a big reward and that we actually can read it on the scoreline, that we have the result for top performance. It was very important that we are absolutely concentrated over all 96 minutes. If you see him on a daily basis, you cannot be surprised. If you see him, he's totally fit. His body is in shape. His physicality is on top level, and mentally, I have really the feeling that he enjoys every day being a professional soccer player on this level, and this is the level he needs to be.
Safe to say, Olivier Giroud is still at a very, very good and high level. Before I go to Bayern, Lazio, but a quick one on Olivier Giroud. I feel it's kind of underrated.
Yeah, of course. Remember, he used to play for the team I support. I'm a fan of Olivier. Top professional. Underrated, yes, for the most part. People say he's not your dream striker in terms of the fact that he lacks pace.
Yes.
But what he doesn't have in pace, he more than makes up for just how, for a big man, he's very decent with his footwork. And yeah, also aerially, there are few better than Olivier Giroud. And, when he scored that spectacular goal yesterday, someone mentioned that Olivier Giroud would have a very, very, fantastic, great goals to show his grandkids when he does have them, because he scored all manner of goals. He enjoys the overhead kick, he said in the post-match. But if you remember, he's had a goal nominated for the Puskás in the past.
It's called the
whilst playing
Scorpion
for
Kick.
Arsenal. Scorpion kick, So, it might not be a great goal scorer in terms of consistency and scoring, 30 goals, 40 goals per season, but he's a scorer of great goals. And, on the big occasion, you can count on him. I like him very much. And, at the international level as well, he's very accomplished. He's only second, I think, to Thierry Henry in the all-time highest goal scorer list for France. He's beating Michel Platini in second place now. And you don't achieve those. He's a World Cup winner, even though he didn't score in that World Cup. You don't achieve those accolades just being average. Is he underrated? I think he's grossly underrated. He should be getting more credit for what he's accomplished in the game. And you look at it, he's won the French league with Montpellier. He came to England, won a couple of cups with Arsenal. He's gone to Chelsea. He's also won trophies. I mean, what more do you want from a player?
Yeah.
What's consistent is, he's always scoring goals and he's always winning things. So we should put respect on that name, Olivier Giroud.
I like that. Put
That's
some respect on his name.
All right, quickly, let's go to Bayern. I mean, what happened to Bayern? Lazio manager said, Simeone Inzaghi just said that, look, the 3 goals that were scored by Bayern were actually scored by them because of their defensive woes and all. What do you make of Lazio? They returned to the Champions League 21 season after, and now they're facing Bayern. And Bayern, of course, as usual, were clinical in that game.
I think the moment Lazio drew Bayern, they knew they were out. But, of course, they still had to.
Okay.
The scoreboard for the 6 minutes in, and it was Bayern 4, Lazio 0. And you feared the worst for Lazio because it could have gone on to be 8 or 9, which would have been very, very embarrassing for them. But credit to them. They fought back, they shut up shop, they made it difficult for Bayern to score. Maybe a combination of them defensively solid and Bayern becoming less interested in scoring goals. For some reason, they were able to prevent Bayern from scoring till the end of the game, and then they found one, I think a few minutes after the 4th one. But look at Bayern. They were very comfortable. They didn't even seem like they actually got out of second gear in that game. They didn't have to. They barely broke sweat. They were very comfortable. They went about their job very professionally. Lewandowski pounced early on a defensive mistake to round Peperina and score.
Yeah.
And then the young star, Musiala, also added his name to the scorer's sheet. Leroy Sané also scored. And, they were just buzzing all over the place. They were very comfortable. And, you can't see beyond another emphatic victory for Bayern in the second leg. This one is done and dusted without a shadow of a doubt. And it must be said, is the 18th game that Bayern, 18th game run, unbeaten run that Bayern have achieved now in the Champions League. And, that's an incredible feat to go 18 games without defeat in the Champions League. And in that period, win it. They are defending champions, let's not forget.
Yeah.
So they take some stopping, and unfortunately for Lazio, they are not the team to do that.
So second leg, no need, right? Just go into Allianz Arena, so there's no need for them.
Yeah, of course, they have to go.
Well, they have to go.
And handle the business.
Yeah, finish it.
But before we leave Bayern and Lazio, you mentioned Musiala, the young English player, the youngest English player to score in the UEFA Champions League. What is it about the German Bundesliga and young English talents going to thrive there?
So I think before now, the thing to do was to stay in the youth ranks as a young player in England, be sent out on loan, just wait and wait for your opportunity in the first team. But I think since Jadon Sancho, a lot more English players are beginning to find Germany a veritable opportunity for them to go and grow their career and grow their reputation and come back home on big money. We see how United are struggling to stump up the cash to get Jadon Sancho now. That's a player who couldn't even make Man City's first team before he went out to Dortmund. And then Jude Bellingham also followed from Birmingham City. He's at Dortmund now. His stock is rising by the day. You have the Leicester guy. I keep forgetting his name. Who's just moved to Leverkusen now. The white guy. I can't remember, but you know who I'm talking about. The very quick, winger who just joined Leverkusen from Leicester. His name misses me. I'm sure I'll remember.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah.
And then you have, this guy who, also has, is making a name for himself. Musiala at Bayern Munich, fantastic footballer, and it's not just the English. Look at
exactly
it's not just the English. A lot of other young talents in Europe are beginning to look at Germany as a place where you go and you find your opportunities to play and make a name for yourself, and then you can go back to England or Spain, wherever, already an accomplished player. What we know is that the Germans place a lot of focus on youth. They give youth a chance. They've got a solid youth system, and for them, the young players are not for the cups. If you are good enough, you are old enough to play. They will play you in the Champions League. They'll play you in the big matches. They'll give you an opportunity to make your mistakes and learn from them. Yeah. But in England, the stakes are obviously higher, and apparently so. Clubs, must always win. And so you look at Frank Lampard, for instance. One of the things he was guilty of was sticking with youth. He kept playing Mason Mount when Chelsea fans felt like Mason Mount shouldn't be playing. And, he paid the ultimate price for that. So Germany will continue to be a place. I expect over the next couple of seasons that more English talent will find their way into the German Bundesliga without a shadow of doubt.
All right, quickly, let's move to today's match. We know Atalanta will be...
The Leicester player I was trying to remember is Gray. Demarai
Gray. All right.
Just move to Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Okay. Today's games, Atalanta will be in action against Real Madrid. Atalanta, of course, they ensure that, yes, they're in a very good position because of their win over Napoli 4-2 in Italian Serie A. And Mönchengladbach and Manchester City will also be in action. So for Atalanta and Real Madrid also had a win at the weekend. So these two sides, we will say, evenly poised for tonight's game.
Real Madrid are in trouble, all manner of trouble. They only have 11 fit first-team players. Ramos is out. Marcelo is out. Benzema is out. Too many important players, missing at the moment. Yes, they won in the league, but this Atalanta team, the Amparini's team, is a different animal. And like you said, they did beat Napoli over the weekend, and they are fifth in Serie A. And they've shown in the past with games against Liverpool and the established order in European football that they fear no one. They will go in there and they will give them a run for their money. And if Real Madrid don't bring their A game to the table, they'll be beaten. As simple as that. And we've seen them struggle against teams like that, teams that have no fear. Mönchengladbach, Shakhtar Donetsk in the league in the group stage did ruffle Real Madrid's feathers. And this Atlanta team, in my own opinion, is even stronger than those two teams, if you ask me. So I think Atalanta does have a chance because there's solid defensive units, but also they're pouring with quality going forward. A lot of belief, a lot of conviction in the way that they play and they attack. And they will definitely give Real Madrid a very big game tonight. And to be honest, I think that they are slight favorites to win this particular one. Over 2 legs, Real Madrid's quality might prove too much for them, but this one, playing at home, Real Madrid with all the injury problems they have, I think Atlanta are my favorites to wedge it.
Incredible. All right, let's talk about City, the Juggernauts, going to Germany to take on Mönchengladbach. And the question is, who's going to stop this Pep Guardiola side? A very long unbeaten run, 24, and they'll take some stopping as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Man City are the best team in Europe at the moment, in my own opinion. You combine the 2 most important things in football and you have a winning formula. You defend competently and you score goals. And that's what Man City have done very well since December, since I think November even, since they lost that game to Spurs. They have gone on an incredible unbeaten run. Most of those matches actually wins. They just, like that popular song, all they do is win, no matter what. They just find a way. They find a way. Sometimes it's not very, very, watchable, like against Arsenal in the second half last weekend. You can understand they played in midweek against Everton, so some tired legs there. They had to make some changes, but they still won. And that's what you have to do at this level, especially at the business end of the season, when these games are coming thick and fast. They've got the depth of the squad, the quality of that depth. The City are probably the only team in England and probably one of the few teams in Europe that can swap like for like. We don't even notice these days that, Kyle Walker is not starting games because Cancelo is probably, the best right back in world football at the moment. The right back who deputizes in midfield as well. Whether it's Fernandinho or Rodri, is the same quality. We don't even notice whether Aguero or Gabriel Jesus are playing, whether it's Mahrez or it's the guy from Valencia. Ferran Torres, it's just like for like quality all over the place. Zinchenko, for me, has grown to become one of the best left backs in Europe over the last few months. That we don't even remember there's a man called Mendy, anymore. So City will win this over 2 legs and we will win both games. Even though I respect Borussia Mönchengladbach a lot. They almost embarrassed Real Madrid in the group stages. They have some young, exciting, talented players. I like Thuram, the son of Lilian, World Cup winner for France in 1998. He's an attacker and a very powerful, strong, goal scorer. Who's super competent with his feet as he is with his head, and he will give City a big worry. Yeah, I think Mönchengladbach, they thrive by playing through in between the lines, especially on the breakaway. So they pick up those second balls particularly, and they try to spring on the counter. And City this particular season have addressed their susceptibility or vulnerability to counterattacks. Particularly with Rodri. Rodri has made more recoveries than anyone in his position in Europe this season. Right. The moment City loses the ball, he wins it back. And whether he's the one who starts or Fernandinho, is the same philosophy. And if you remember Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, there was that 10-second principle. You lose the ball in 10 seconds, you recover it.
You got to get
and
it
that's
back.
what City are doing.
But,
Yeah, and that's what they will do with Mönchengladbach. So like I said, I can't see beyond the City win over 2 legs in this one.
All right, but many thanks for joining us on the show. We'll see how those results pan out by the end of tonight. So we're just going to break now. When we come back, the Nigerian Professional Football League will get us talking. Join us again. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Let's take a look at games that we played on March the 12th of the Nigerian Professional Football League. Now, very interesting fixtures indeed. Cecilia, you mentioned your star game at the start of the show.
Aqua United.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty obvious why that game will get a lot of attention as well. It's going to be on air as well.
Of course, it's going to be on NPFL.tv, so everyone can actually tune in and watch it wherever you are. Just pick up your phone, and once you have the app, you can watch the NPFL.
Yeah, and if you don't have the app as well, so you can tune into, it's also on cable as well.
NTA.
So several platforms to follow the Nigerian Professional Football League. Let's take a look now at the fixtures of all the other games, of course, headlined by Aqua United taking on Enyimba of Aba. Cecilia, other games as well?
Yeah, other games. We have a Plateau United and Jigawa Golden Stars. Remember Plateau United, couldn't win at Aqua United because Aqua United got all 3 points. Just a long goal, but that was enough. But right now, they'll be at home against Jigawa Golden Stars, so that game will be there. You also have Nasarawa United and Ifeanyi Uba is another game to watch out for. Kano Pillars and Sunshine Stars is another game for tonight. You also have the game between Wiki Tourist and Rangers International. Rangers, of course, won their game. Kwara United and Abia Warriors. We'll see. Kwara United unbeaten run is already over. They were actually top of the league briefly. They're still at the top right now, but then, with Enyimba having games in hand and Rivers and all that, so once these games are played, Kwara United needs to win against high-flying, latest high-flying Abia Warriors, because they were clinical in the last game. 4-1, they won. Warri Wolves, Warri Wolves were beaten 4-1 by Abia Warriors, but they will be at home and they will be hosting Rivers United, who just crashed out of the CAF Confederations Cup. Will they want to use that anger to see if they can inflict another, another loss on Warri Wolves? We'll find out about that today at 4 p.m. when these games go ahead. And, of course, other games will be for tomorrow. The ones you're seeing right now will be match day 12. That will be on Thursday evening. You have Katsina United and MFM will be in action. You also have Heartland and Dakada, another game to watch out for. Adamawa United and, of course, Lobby Stars. Heartland and Dakada will be on NPFL.TV. So these games are for Thursday in the Nigeria Professional Football League.
All right, so that's it. Join us tomorrow for comprehensive review of all those games.
Okay, quickly talk about the Under-17 CAF Under-17 Nations Cup qualified teams. You see them, well, of course, for the Golden Eagles, they will know their opponents today because the draws will be made today. Now, in WAFU A, you have Mali and Senegal. You have WAFU B, Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria, of course, are the ones who made it to that one. In COSAFA, you have Zambia and South Africa. CAFA, you have Uganda and Tanzania. And, of course, Algeria and Morocco from the north. And, of course, you have Cameroon and Congo from another part. Each of them, zone and all that. Each of the qualified teams from each zone will meet, and the group, the pairings will be done today. So, Flying Eagles, Golden Eagles, Flying Eagles, come on. I don't know why they didn't make anything at it. So they couldn't even qualify for Africa Championship. Well, it's all gone. But at least Golden Eagles are doing us proud. At least they're in it. So we'll see how it's going to go. Well, first of all, they need to know their opponents and see if they can get out of the group stage and think of winning it and qualifying for the World Cup, which is really key.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just remembering how they managed, they got out of jail thanks to Cote d'Ivoire, right? Yeah, but I mean, that's in the past now. The coach obviously knows they've got their work cut out. The team has to improve massively at the AFCON.
But WAFU is so competitive.
Get all the best teams. But now they're going, I see what you're saying, but then it's still going to be very competitive.
Ghana, you have
at the AFCON as well.
Nigeria, Who's gonna go home? But
Yeah.
somehow, at least
Anyways,
Nigeria.
thankfully.
Thankfully, of course, we escaped. We went to Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana
dear.
are staying at home.
Oh,
That's
too
a
bad.
bragging right about Ghana right there.
All right, before we look at the papers and take some
I'll
tweets,
talk about bobsled. Yes,
our guys that left Nigeria yesterday.
Yeah, we mentioned that they left the country yesterday. And of course, we were able to catch up with them, before, getting out of the country, and how excited these athletes are. When you've never been out of the country, you're going to a very, very cold zone. Of course, you'll be excited just anticipating that. Just maybe. Okay.
You'll be excited and apprehensive as well.
Okay.
Because they're not going to London or America, they're going to Pyeongchang.
That place is cold.
Exactly.
We can see pictures of them, just at the airport when they were trying to leave, the country and all that. Just being happy, excited, and just looking forward to that 1 month of training they will be having in Pyeongchang, and that will be their preparations for the Winter Olympic Games in 2022. So these athletes were trained right here in Nigeria. They're not used to ice yet, and that's why the Federation is actually taking them to Pyeongchang, where the 2018 Winter Olympics was played. That particular ice rink where they will train, the track where Nigeria made its debut, that's where they will be training. Just look at the 6 of them, and some officials, all of them going to South Korea for that. Yes, it's going to be a big one, because 1 month they will be in that country. 1 month. Interesting. Well, let's listen to one of them. I mean, how excited he is, joining this team to go over to South Korea for 1 month training camp.
Based on this sport, we don't have the facility here in Nigeria. So that was the main reason why we are going for tour, to train over there, because we don't have a ice here. We don't even have the equipment. But over there, there's much equipment that you can make use of so that we can adapt to the condition slated for this game. We have learned a lot of things concerning this sport. Part of what we learned in Nigeria is part of training on both inside the hot weather and inside the cold weather. What I mean by that is there's a time we have to do a ice bath. There's what we call ice bath. So during the ice bath, you have to put some ice, some blocks into like a drum filled with water, so you stay inside it, timing every now and then. You'll be doing it so that your body system can adapt to cold. So by the time we get there, it won't look at it strange to us that we are doing, we are feeling a little bit cold.
Right, Oluwole Emmanuel there just explaining how it's going to be. He's already waiting and preparing for it. Okay, quickly we'll take some tweets before we look at the papers. Mustafa Abdul says, good morning, I hope my Kwara United will win against Abia and remain top of the league. MPFL is getting interesting to watch, definitely. Noble Flyerman says, hate to say it, but I think UCL is coming to the Etihad. The way they are playing, just like Pack of Wolves on a deadly mission. The only team that can stop them is either Man City themselves, or Bayern. So is that the commentator of the MPFL is doing a good job? He's rooting for Eimba.
All right, Damien Frank, before we go, we also have your message. Chelsea was well organized defensively, well coordinated in midfield as well. Good mobility in attack, and most importantly, superior, undoubtedly, that was against Atletico Madrid. Of course, J-String as well to Chelsea game was a tug of war. But honestly, Chelsea played a very impressive game against Atletico Madrid. Let's take a look at the papers quickly before we go. Sporting Life. Ghana Ross talking says it will be a miracle for Nigeria to win the World Cup. Really? Yeah.
You also have the same thing on Complete Sport. Also, it said it's going to be only a miracle can make Nigeria win the FIFA World Cup. And neurosurgeon say Osimhen can't wait to get back. So he's he will gradually resume training. That's what Napoli is saying. And the last one, Sporting Sun, still talking about Ghana Draw reveals crazy plan for Aribo and Balogun. How crazy would that be? We'll find out when the list is out. And of course, when they face Lesotho and Benin Republic in the final round of qualifiers. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. You have a great day.
I am Tari Salam. Join us again tomorrow.